For marketers, generative AI it's like a double-edged sword. On one side, you have this incredible tool for creativity and power. But on the other, you've got a whole new world of pretty significant risks. So today, we're going to explore both sides of that sword, so you can actually wield the power without, getting cut. Let's get right into it.
Just so you know, all the insights we're covering today, they come directly from Chapter 2 of a tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. It focuses specifically on the challenges and opportunities that marketing and comms teams are facing right now.
Okay, let's dive into the exciting part first, the promise of AI. And I'm not just talking about little improvements here and there. For marketing teams, this is about completely changing the creative workflow. We're talking about unlocking a level of efficiency that, honestly, was just unimaginable a few years back.
So let's start with the most obvious win, content and copywriting. Just think about all those hours you spend cranking out first drafts of blog posts, filling up social media calendars, or writing ad copy. AI can literally collapse that time from hours down to minutes. It does the heavy lifting on that initial creation, which frees up your team to focus on what they do best: strategy, refinement, and those really big creative ideas.
But it's not just about text. Not at all. AI is also an incredible partner for visual ideas. Imagine feeding it a simple creative brief and getting back a dozen different design concepts or campaign taglines in seconds. It's like having a brainstorming assistant that never gets tired, helping you get to way better ideas way faster.
And the promise goes even further than just creating stuff. AI can seriously supercharge your personalization and analysis. It can tailor messages to thousands of different customer segments all at once, or it can sift through mountains of campaign data to find those key insights that a human might just miss. This is really about making marketing smarter, not just faster. The potential is, well, it's obviously huge. But this is the point where we really have to hit the brakes for a second, because with all this power comes a really critical question. What happens when this incredibly powerful, but let's be honest, imperfect technology goes wrong in a role that's completely public-facing? And this is where we have to get serious. For marketers, the stakes are just so much higher because our work is out there for everyone to see. One bad AI-generated output can easily spiral into a brand crisis that could take months or even years to recover from. So let's break down the 5 critical risks you absolutely need to manage. First one up is your brand voice. If you let AI run wild, it's going to produce generic, totally soulless content that makes you sound like everybody else. The control for this is a two-parter. First, you've got to create really detailed brand AI prompts that actually teach the AI your specific tone and personality. And second, and this is non-negotiable, a human being has to review and approve every single piece of content before it goes public.
Next is a massive legal trap: intellectual property. See, these AI models learn from the entire internet, right? So they can accidentally plagiarize copyrighted material. The solution? Only use tools from vendors that offer IP indemnification. That means they'll have your back if a legal problem comes up. And of course, always run plagiarism checks. This one step can save you a fortune in legal fees.
Now, this next one is especially critical if you're in finance, healthcare, or any other regulated industry. An AI might just create a marketing claim that isn't compliant with, say, FTC or SEC rules, and that can lead to enormous fines. You just can't let AI create claims without a human expert in the loop. Every single claim has to be backed up, just like it always has been. Okay, this one is an absolute red line. You never, ever input customer personally identifiable information, or PII, into a public AI tool. It's a huge breach of trust and very likely a violation of laws like GDPR. The policy here has to be zero tolerance. No customer PII in prompts, period. And finally, we have the nightmare scenario for any marketer: reputational damage. An AI could spit out something that's offensive, biased, or politically charged, and it gets published under your brand's name. The only real safeguard here is a vigilant human watching over everything. You need a person to be that final gatekeeper before anything goes live.
So after hearing all those risks, you might be thinking, maybe we should just avoid AI altogether. But that's not the answer. The answer is to move forward, but to do it thoughtfully. And that whole process starts with choosing the right tools. You need a really rigorous evaluation process that looks way past the flashy features and instead focuses on safety and true partnership.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it gives us a super practical checklist. Let's just look at a couple of these. See the row for content rights? The key thing to look for isn't just who owns the content, it's whether the vendor offers indemnification. That's a huge green flag. Now look down at data privacy. A major red flag here is unclear data retention. You have to know exactly how your data is being handled. This whole framework really shifts your thinking from, hey, what can this tool do, to how can this tool protect me and my brand?
Okay, so once you have the right tools, you need the right rules. This is all about building a sustainable governance framework. Basically, the policies and the procedures that make sure you're using AI responsibly and effectively for the long haul.
This slide lays out the 5 pillars of a really strong governance plan. And notice, it's kind of a cycle. You start with review and approval, sure, but you also have to develop your brand voice guides to make that review process easier. You train and enable your teams, but then you have to monitor performance to see if that training is actually working. And holding it all together is step 5, crisis preparedness. You have to go in assuming something will eventually go wrong and be ready for it.
So how do you actually put all of this into practice? The key takeaway is this: the path to success isn't about avoiding AI because you're scared of it. It's about embracing it with a healthy dose of respect for both its power and its pitfalls.
And the good news is, you don't have to just jump into the deep end. The source material offers a brilliant starting point. Begin with internal, low-risk content. Use AI to summarize your meeting notes or draft internal emails. This lets your team get comfortable with the tools, and it allows you to test out your review process in a totally safe, controlled environment.
Which leaves us with one final question, and it's not for me, it's for you and your team. In this new age of AI, balancing innovation with responsibility, well, that's the new core skill for marketers. So, is your brand ready? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.